This meeting is being recorded, as you just heard, from by the city of Greenfield. If you are recording the meeting, please let us know. You are recording, and you are with a recorder. Thank you. So first on our agenda is information about the fairgrounds preliminary discussion regarding possible annual entertainment license. So
You do a roll call for the.
I'll have to make sure everyone knows, everyone who is here. So in attendance here is myself, Ruth Ellen M. Henry, and we have Alan Ball and Phil Cornett. And on the video is Randy Bernard and Amanda Abramson. So, Mr. Nelson, I guess these are available to us to protect information that we have in front of us that we would not necessarily want to be captured from the video that's happening. Because we have some sensitive information on our paperwork. Hopefully we don't hold them up beyond our shields.
And we did double check and make sure that you can't see it from the Zoom. Matt zoomed in to check us.
All right. Appreciate that. So you have a request that you'd be given an annual entertainment license for the fairground.
Yeah, so you'll remember, or you'll recall before the holidays, Mr. Mass and I came before the commission and proposed the idea of the potential for a annual license. By all means, it was not necessarily something we were gung-ho and like, we got to do this, but we did want to offer this suggestion to this commission to see if it was something that you guys wanted to do. One of the things that we had heard as feedback from some community members is that there were just so many licensing commission meetings for all the various events that wouldn't it be lovely if we could condense it and make it easier? And this was one of the avenues that Attorney Mass and I had identified as a possibility. So as we shared back at that meeting, it's not something that we necessarily are strongly advocating for, but we did want to suggest it as something food for consideration for this commission. We've heard Matt from the mayor's office shared last meeting that the mayor's office proposes maybe waiting a little bit of time, maybe waiting a year or so before doing that. We're totally on board for that and happy to continue the conversation next year or even the year after. That's something that's more comfortable for this commission. So again, it's not anything we're strongly pushing. We just wanted to open that door and begin the conversation.
So I'm thinking out loud here. You have a calendar of all this year's events already?
Yes, sir.
If that's something you could furnish to the commission, because there might be certain events that we know that there's no reason to have them come in or based on previous experiences, but there might be some that we might feel, we want to look at. I don't.
So we have through work with Matt and Lori and Counselor Wood Perry, we've put together the rental agreement document that I've referenced several times now at various meetings. And in that, it outlines which events need a permit versus those that don't. And so there's some events that just are so small scale or so non-intrusive that they don't, whereas obviously larger events would need to. So, I mean, at this point, I think more than half of our events for this year that need a permit already have a permit, have already been before you or are here today. So as far as this year's concerned, we're it's almost a moot point because we're kind of already there. But it's certainly something for consideration for the future.
I just want to add real quickly, Matt Conway with the mayor's office. I want to thank Mike Nelson and Isaac Mass for bringing this forward because I think it was productive and positive to have a conversation, preliminary talks about it. I think our stance remains, we'd like to revisit it after this year. But I think it's good to kind of get, a good temperature on it, and we can do our due diligence and make sure we are proceeding on the proper footing.
So if my understanding would be, you would be 100% in control of who is permitted to use your fairgrounds, but would you rely on us to make more intense decisions or would it be strictly, and we have Isaac Mass here, attorney?
So if the license commission were to issue an annual permit, anything in those categories that you approved would be allowed without permit, and the fair would be responsible, or the agricultural association would be responsible for making sure there was compliance with any of the conditions of the permit. However, at any time, you could bring the agricultural commission before, as you can any license permittee, before the commission to amend conditions or to add additional conditions or remove conditions. Any concerns you had, you could always bring them back. But this would prevent you from having to have ongoing meetings for things that you were not concerned about.
So do you find that the licensing committee is a central hub where you can get the police, you can get the Board of Health, you can get traffic control? Like I'm thinking of when you got 3,000 to 5,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about when you have events that may have illegal substances in it. I'm thinking about different events that are going along, and that's fine, and the town hall may or may not know about it. You may or may not notify the police department that you got 5,000 people coming next week. Now, do you find now, in the present operation, that with those events of that magnitude, and maybe less,
Mm-hmm.
that you do or do not really need the licensing committee meeting to sort of be a hub to make sure everything gets together? Or can you just dangle out there all by yourselves and run everything without having to notify the committee? Because I assume you're notifying the police. I assume you're notifying the health department. I assume you're notifying whoever.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just curious. You understand my question about?
Kind of. So in general, any event that needs police or health inspections or such are probably at a scale that are currently already coming to the licensing commission. I would say that any event that's on the smaller size, like dog shows or agricultural shows, are not currently coming to the commission, but don't really need to go anywhere else either because they don't need any of those services. The ones that are most reliant on getting police and fire and such, I think are who you're seeing now.
So
I'm
so what you could do, I think I understand the question. You can set whatever conditions you want on an annual permit if you choose to do that, including events over a certain size need to have coordination with police, fire, health department, whatever conditions you set, the fair will comply with. And so can that happen outside of the auspices of the license commission? If you order it to happen, it will happen. And it's not undifferent than anyone else who has an entertainment license. If they have a certain population of people, they may need to get additional municipal support. And I think the Fair Towns has had good communication with, through the mayor's office with all of the departments.
And you had made the comment of if an event were to have illegal substances, if they have illegal substances at this point, they are not ever coming back.
They're not coming back.
We are in a very different position. We have no tolerance at this point.
There are occasions when something happens in town that's a big deal.
Mhm.
And it's a really big deal to the neighborhood around it.
Absolutely.
Uh, how would you go about dealing with what you know is going to happen with noise, or you know you're going to have an instance with whatever,
Mhm.
to inform everybody beforehand what you have in place or what you're doing to try to help satisfy the neighborhood,
Mhm.
like positioning the stage,
Mhm.
like noise monitoring and different things that you have in place that they should be notified or could be notified
Mhm.
about. So you can either hold something at the fairgrounds, I would think, or a Zoom meeting, or,
Mhm.
have you thought about that at all?
So I think that's a process or protocol that we would be seeking the city's guidance on how and the community and the neighborhood's guidance on what would be adequate for them. I think we got a good relationship right now certainly with the mayor's office that helps us facilitate those conversations. So we'd certainly be looking to continue doing that, and especially with Councilor Perry. A lot of the events at this point are either events that the larger events that are taking place are events that have taken place in the past. There's a lot of larger events that are not coming back this year, including some of the problem ones that we are all familiar with. Green River Fest and Soul Fest, who are the biggest events outside of the county fair, do in-person meetings with the neighborhood group at least once, if not twice, leading up to their event. Soul Fest actually just did theirs right before Thanksgiving, right after. They came out to meet with the neighbors, and we had 2 people come. It was open to everyone, and literally 2 people came. So they're certainly making the efforts to do that, to have those communication windows open.
Yeah, I just want to say to add, to take you kind of further behind the curtain. I met with the neighborhood group, I think at least 3 or 4 times last summer. So it's definitely something we always want to like check the temperature on and see how things are going. I think Michael and the Fairgrounds Association made a lot of productive steps this year. I think one of the biggest is just how the calendar is calibrated. You know, you'll have an event like Green River Fest, but like the week before and after, it's dog shows. So I think what we really heard from the neighborhood is that, you know, if it's a big event, but it's kind of, you know, surrounded and there's good consideration for, you know, smaller events around it, it's a lot more, you know, productive. And we've also already been really working with the new Soulfest organizers. Their vision for 2025 is a lot different than 2024. It's a lot more conscious of the sound impact, and there's already a very kind of analytical approach to making sure that is minimal. And they'll be reworking the stage setup, and they'll also be having less amplified music than the previous year. So I think these conversations always breed productive changes, and we're always going to keep those lines of communication open.
And I just want to reiterate, which I've said at previous meetings, we're not looking to have a Green River type fest event every weekend. We don't want a Green River Fest type event every weekend. While they're nice, it's nice to also have the diversity and different styles of events. So what you see in the 2025 calendar, if you go on our website, is very comparable to what we envision for the next few years. Certainly there will be new events and things will change and stuff, but in the general landscape, that's the direction we're looking for the near future.
What's your website?
FCAS.com. On the top right-hand corner, there's a calendar link.
So would you consider this, our granting this to the Agricultural Society more of a burden for you, or not?
I think It has its pluses and minuses as far as us. In the end, I think it's the end of the day. It's very comparable for us at the end of the day as far as the amount of workload and burden. I think it's certainly easier for some folks that wouldn't have to come in as frequently and such. So again, as I said from the start, we're kind of at your discretion on this. Like, we're kind of like, might be a neat thing to do. Maybe not. We kind of just want to see what your opinions are and if it would make your lives easier. If not, by all means, we work very closely with Lori. All the event organizers work very closely with Lori, and she's fantastic to work with and really helps to make things happen. So for this year, we're very happy to carry on. And if we want to reconnect a year from now and not reconsider, but think about what the year has brought and what steps we want to bring, we're
Yeah, it's
good with it.
it's good to get feedback once in a while on how these events went, rather than get blindsided. Say,
Yeah.
hear what happened at the fairgrounds and
Yep,
you don't know what's going on, so.
yeah.
This is the first year with your new noise ordinance for the fairground, your new policy guidelines. Is that correct?
This is the new year of the policy manual, yes. And just to clarify, there aren't any noise ordinances, quote unquote, in it. I want to make sure everyone knows that. There are times, specific times when music can start and stop, particularly on Sunday through Thursday nights. We now have a 9 o'clock curfew. And on Friday and Saturday nights, it's a 10:30 curfew. With the exception that this commission gave Green River Fest to allow them to go to 11 on the weekend nights, should they experience severe weather. So otherwise, we now have those timeframes in place. And as far as noise decibels and such, that's something that we're kind of leaning on the city to help us with as far as noise mitigation.
Well, it's good that you have worked together and got information down on paper for each of the
Absolutely.
event organizers to sign and agree to and. fully
And it's
understand.
already been very helpful as we've been planning for this year's events. There's been a lot of questions and we've been able to defer to it, and people go, oh, I didn't realize that's what I was supposed to do or how to do it or whatever. So, as much chaos as may have come out of, as much chaos as it may have taken to get there, we've gotten to a place where we now have a great document that we can refer to. So it was a light at the end of the tunnel in that regards.
Well, we thank
Michael?
you very much.
I
Randy?
got a question as far as pretty much of it's been covered, but I was just wondering if your attorney Mass may be able to help on this one, is just as if you're granted this particular license, you have a problem, something goes haywire, it's above you, how would it be about, I'd really hate to have to reject the license or the permit or whatever for the agricultural society because of somebody else's screw up.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to take on that responsibility? Or, I agree with, like right now you're saying, okay, this one's got to come in, that one's got to come in. So it kind of puts the onus on them and not you, taking the whole brunt for somebody else's mess up.
Absolutely. As you say that, I think a good direction may be that certain events are exempt, if you will. Exempt
Yeah,
from the license, as
dog
Attorney Mass
shows.
was saying earlier, there's stipulations. Maybe we say any event over, I'm making up a number here, any event over 1,000 people that's being facilitated by somebody outside of the agricultural society still has to come and get a license. Maybe we go somewhere that direction. And then events like the Franklin County Fair and the food festival that the fairgrounds does, and some of the smaller events, maybe those are covered under this license here. And then, now we're talking maybe 6 to 8 events coming in here as opposed to 20 events coming in for licenses. So, maybe that's somewhere where we meet in the middle of a common ground. But again, we're open to everything and anything as far as discussions. So happy to continue on.
Right. Attorney Mass?
Yeah, just to address that specific question, I agree with Michael Hartley that you guys can set whatever parameters for the license that you want. But if there were a problem, and you have the discretion to bring the agricultural society in, and it doesn't require a full revocation, you can set any additional restrictions onto the license that you want, even throughout the course of the year.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Of course,
Well, we appreciate your being able to sit with us today and
absolutely.
give us more food for thought. And do you have a timeline on when you think, you said everything is pretty well set for this year?
I mean, you're still gonna see certainly some more licenses come in. You got 2 today. I know Soulfest still needs to come. I'm looking over at Lori because we just went through this list the other day. There was what, maybe like 5 more
Yeah.
that needed to come in. So a relatively small group still for this year. So I mean, my suggestion would be that we table this and reconvene a year from now and see where things go, if that works for this group.
Yeah, well, I think that since this is all new to all of us.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that getting a feel for how it goes and
Yeah, and just the past few years of the fairgrounds, I mean, we're in a very different world at the fairgrounds, so we've come a long way. Certainly, there's still progress to be made, but you know, we're learning more every year, so.
well, that was the other point I was going to make. You're not new at this anymore. However,
There's still a lot of new things to learn every day.
Don't know.
Absolutely. We don't know what we don't know. Yep.
Exactly. So we thank you.
Yeah. There is somebody with a hand raised if you want. I don't know if you're taking public comment or not.
Not at this time, I don't think. That hand has been up since she signed in, I think.
No, I just raised it because I'm one of the neighbors to the fairgrounds. Am I allowed to speak?
I would assume so.
I live at 186 Petty Plain Road. My name is Armine Margosian. And I really do not feel that there has been sufficient progress with the fairgrounds in respecting the neighbors. If there's any problem, everything is taken care of post-event, and there's nobody to contact in the meantime when issues are occurring. The police won't handle it. The licensing board is not accessible, and there are, you know, health ramifications that are not addressed. And so I just think that this is a really bad idea. And I mean, I don't see anybody listening to what the neighbors have to say other than.
That's a shame
trying
because
to-
we have given you voice often.
Yes, you have. And because I attend every meeting and I do express what's happening, as my experience, that is true, but it's not considered for any of your decision making. And so I really object to there just being this kind of blanket entertainment license. There have been a lot of issues that have occurred, that have arisen, and then everything is taken care of post-event. There is nothing to address things during an event.
I disagree with you on that point, and I will say that we represent, as a board, all the citizenry of Greenfield, and that we do our very best when issues come up post-event, which is the only way we can deal with them. And if you're not pleased with it, please speak with the mayor's office, and we will consider even more consideration for your.
Well, considering that right now, the people who are requesting licenses have to come pre-event, and we're addressing issues that are pre-event, like the giant, I don't know, what do you call what was the one with the giant vehicles?
You know, that's in our past. That is in our past. And at this point, I think what you're having to say is no different than what you have said before. We have other items on our agenda, so we thank you for being willing to listen, and we will move on to the next item on the agenda.
Well, I just wanted to continue to say the same things because I don't feel that I'm understood or heard. So, but I
Thank
do,
you.
I do
Thank you.
respect.
Thank you. Your
Thank
time
you,
is
Erin.
up. Thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. So just to confirm, we'll reconvene next year, winter time, and talk next steps? If any, maybe we decide we don't do anything.
Just food for thought. Just tabling it for a whole year.
Hi, Mayor.
I don't see how that's really going to help having this void of 365 days of no communication.
Well, we're still
I think
going to
that-
issue the permits, entertainment permits and licenses. We're still going to do
Right,
that throughout this year. They're not going to just freely take anyone in.
What I'm thinking about, Chairman, is that if we have a set idea, let's say every 4 months or something during the summer where we sit down and we can say, hey, you know what, this happened. And maybe we can do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do it, we can learn about these things as sort of as they're going along, but not necessarily as we're going.
I think,
But to sit and leave it for a whole complete year
yeah,
as a complete dry subject and then come in and start again, it just seems a little,
I think we kind of do that sort of on a monthly basis anyways. I know certainly between Aaron and Matt, I'm in frequent communication with the mayor's office about things and addressing and reevaluating as we go. And then Matt usually gives a mayor's update at meetings. If an event went poorly or something, he'll share that information. So I almost feel like we even do that more frequently already.
okay, that's fine.
And
The other
Okay.
thing I'll just add real quick is like when there's events that happen in the year past, if the event comes forward, any public input or comment we receive via email during the event, we provide in the minutes packet so you have a chance to review any public sentiments that were submitted to our office.
So I don't think we're saying we're not going to talk about it for a year. I think we're saying we're going to continue to evaluate, find ways to do events better. And when we reconvene in a year from now, we'll have had the opportunity to continue these conversations that we've had.
and we're free to ask them to come in.
Yeah,
Should there be?
I think I'm here every month anyway, so.
It seems to me if I'm a neighbor and I'm not concerned, I go on your website, you pretty much, you say you've listed most of the events for the year. And maybe there's a number there, if you've got a question, about some event coming up, they could call that number and say, I have some concerns beforehand and noise level.
Yeah, and certainly the core neighborhood knows my community, mine and Matt's and Aaron's contacts. So if they wanted to reach out to a particular event coordinator, between the three of us, we could get that information very quickly for them.
So I'll invite Attorney Mass for one more comment and then we have to move on.
There was just a reminder that this was brought forward by the Agricultural Society based on community concerns. And if the board doesn't have concerns that an annual license would require, neither does the Agricultural Society. And those concerns were brought forward by the community prior to the city implementing the hybrid method of these meetings. And maybe that alone would alleviate the community concern because it'd be more accessible for them to get to the more frequent meetings. I am sort of the position, I don't think Mike is in disagreement with this, is that you don't have to place this back on your agenda at all. They can continue to operate as they have unless you want to change how things are done. We're not asking to change how things are done. They will continue to come in for every event as needed and whenever you ask them to.
Thank you, Attorney Mass. That's actually a really great summary is we're good with whatever you guys want us to do. So
All right.
just tell us what to do.
Thank
And
you.
if you want to just carry on the way we have, we're happy to do that
Well,
for the near future too. So.
all right.
All right.
Thank you
Thank you.
for your precious
Thank you.
time. So, second on the agenda, we have, Destiny Klein, / Green Mine Fair and Share Entertainment License with music exhibitors and fireworks for July 4th, 2025, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Rain date to be announced at the fairgrounds. Hello.
Hi, Ruth, how are you?
Klein.
Yes. Hello, guys. It's very nice to see you guys today. Thank you for having me again. We're excited for a new year and a fresh start to continue safety and fun at the Franklin County Fairgrounds. I've collaborated with Lori. I've spoken with Christy about our dates. The town of Greenfield is happy that our fireworks don't bother theirs any bit. I've been in strong communication with Michael and Steve about rules with the fairgrounds. We do not plan on having any cannabis whatsoever. We will still have our community partners like Patriot Care, but that's just, sorry, I got distracted there. I apologize. We will have community partners like Patriot Care, but that's just commerce in the community that we plan to just help, promote local businesses. But there will be no cannabis theme and there won't be no cannabis exhibitors or any products on display or at any of the vendor tables at all. We showed, I believe in October, that we were able to have a family-friendly event that went off safely. We did bring a lot of workshops. Our haunted house did not go down because we had problems with the building permit the day of opening. So that was unfortunate. But besides that setback, it really was a lovely family event that I hope showed the town that we could comply. We could educate our staff and move forward in a positive direction. I'm hoping to come before you today to ask for another chance to show you that this year we'll bring another great event to the town on cannabis theme and family friendly.
If I may, this is a great example of an issue that happened at the fairgrounds. As a group in this room, we were able to come together, communicate, find better solutions, and turn the event from a negative experience into now a great new family experience for the entire community to enjoy. So just want to point out that that's a great example for anybody who may be listening of how the fairgrounds is listening to feedback directly and finding new roads forward with it.
Thank you, Michael. I would like to also say to the neighbors that it did not go without consequence. We took very large hits to our business, and we are still climbing back from that. It took a lot of hard work from our company to really take everything that everyone said, even you guys and the neighbors, to really just accept all the feedback, learn from our mistakes, and move forward. But I do want to let everyone know that there are consequences to actions, and it's not something that just was taken lightly and looked over. So the fairgrounds definitely took it to heart. We took it to heart, and we will not make that mistake again.
And again, that helped us direct our new policy manual, which strictly puts strict regulations on cannabis moving forward. So while it was an unfortunate incident for you, it actually was great for us in kind of sort of way that it helped us build out those guidelines for future events. So
I think all states are really learning cannabis regulations and how to move forward to it. So I don't think it's anyone's, negative character that it happened. I think the laws are very gray in some areas. And I think people took advantage of the gray area. And it was unfortunate on our behalf, even though we did not allow it. We had to take the fall for it gracefully and move forward. So
Can you remind me, Destiny, did we deal with the two timeframes last year
yes, we
for
canceled.
the same permit?
So when I had originally came in the beginning of the year, I permitted all 5 of my events. So we had all of our events, 4/20, 5/19, July 4th, September 1st, and October, which was Halloween. So after July 4th and the unfortunate situation that happened, we had
Right.
September 1st canceled and we had to cancel Halloween. But I came back and I re-permitted a family-friendly event that I took a lot of hard time and dedication to recreate and reshape, and I presented it to you guys, and you were very nice enough to allow me a second chance. And I think I hope I was able to show you guys that.
Seems like that worked very well as far as our end is concerned. For you, you've got some struggling to do, but
Yes.
the question is, Lieutenant Haskins is looking for numbers. Have you presented them to him from
presented-
last year's?
I haven't. I've emailed Lieutenant Haskins for us to have a date to talk. I'm right now just waging numbers because although we did have a large attendance last year, because we still are kind of in the rebrand phase, we're not expecting as many, but we are still planning with the police for the amount of police detail for the number of last year. So we don't have any ticket sales to promise numbers right now. But we have been in talks and we are in constant communication with Lieutenant Hoskins, waging where our ticket sales are and still planning for the large outcome. So we aren't bombarded like we were last year. We will have double the detail that we had last year. We have took on Green Mountain Security, which was amazing. Absolutely. Like rating them a 10 on Yelp, if I could, of a security team. And we doubled the amount of security guards we had for them as well. And we plan to have that
Just
same number
point-
for July 4th. So there's no traffic concerns and that we have detail for the people coming in and out and to look for.
Point of
offenders.
interest, this email was generated on January 8th. So it's been another 10, 12 days. So it's,
The lieutenant has his hand raised. He might provide more context.
Lieutenant Haskins.
Hi, Lieutenant Haskins.
Hey, so just from my point of view, so you all know, I was away on vacation, but I did get the emails. As far as the post numbers, Destiny provided that. We spoke quite a bit about that. And for us, for the numbers, I don't really need them until a month out because I'm looking for more hard numbers. I have all of her estimates. So from our point of view, we're satisfied right now. And she has maintained giving us the numbers a month in advance. She gave us the numbers a week in advance as we've requested, and she gave me post numbers.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant
That
Haskins.
clarifies that question.
Thank you, Ruth.
I would just like to add real quick, I appreciate Destiny and Green Minds for all the work they put into reimagining their events. I know 4th of July is a big draw with the fireworks, and I'm hoping they'll have good attendance. I just want to suggest to the commission to put on the floor a couple conditions. I know this event won't be cannabis themed, but just because Green Mind in the past had been cannabis themed, just to have these conditions in place. The 3 are sales, storage, display of marijuana that is contrary to state law is prohibited. Use of marijuana that is contrary to state law is prohibited at this event. And then Greenfield authorities may take appropriate action to remedy a violation, including but not limited to shutting down a particular vendor or the entire event. These are 3 conditions that will be consistent with any cannabis related event that takes place in the city, including item 3 on the agenda today.
So number 2 was no public consumption?
That is contrary to state law. So if
Oh, okay.
Fairgrounds is a private entity, they have kind of oversight on that.
Okay, just wanted to clarify, but we absolutely are 100% ready to comply with all of it.
Yeah, when is the town's fireworks?
With the rain date and the license.
It's what they-
Christy and I did correspond. I had a rain date that conflicted with hers. So we did move our rain date to an unfortunate July 3rd. That's what I asked Lori to put officially, but I don't see us using July 3rd at all. I don't even know how one would use a rain date a day before, because we've sweated it out a few times and actually made it on like 99% rain days with clear overage. So yeah, we're really hoping for July 4th, but we are willing always to work with Christy on changing any dates or conflicts with the town.
So my understanding that anyone attends the event cannot use marijuana on the grounds, is that what I'm?
They are allowed to use marijuana. We do have smoking areas that are 21 plus. The fairgrounds is a legal area to smoke. We are not publicizing that, but that is law. You are allowed to publicly consume. We do have children's areas that are completely not smoking. We are not cannabis themed, but we are not depriving people of their right to smoke marijuana either. And if they're smoking a cigarette and they're in their confined areas, it's the same thing. Same thing as consuming alcohol in the 21 plus areas.
Right.
So again, that's one of the things that the law is so back and forth on, but we do want to make it very clear that we are not telling the public that that's what they should come to July 4th to do. Again, we really are going to pitch this to the community as a family-friendly rebrand, just like we did for Halloween.
Right.
And in the wings here is waiting for the alcohol vendor to come and apply for.
Yes, we just wanted to make sure that we got the permit, and we'll have the same alcohol vendors last year for Phantoms Brewing Company.
That's mainly beer, malt, and it's not.
Yes,
liquor,
not
right?
liquor, no.
Yeah, okay.
We did have the beer guy we had last year. I'm not sure, I haven't spoken to him, but that might be a possibility too. We had both of them last year. But again, we lost him after our unfortunate event, so we're still just earning the public's trust back one step at a time. And our vendors' trust back one step at a time. We want them to represent a good event too. They want to represent a good event, so.
So in interest of further discussion, I'll entertain a motion for agenda number 2.
So I'll make a motion, we allow Destiny Klein, Greenfield Fair, and share entertainment license with music, exhibitors and fireworks through July 4th, 1 PM to 10 PM at the fairgrounds.
A second to motion.
So I have a motion on the floor as stated. Any other questions? Where did Randy go?
Randy's on the job.
Okay,
I'm waiting to vote.
all right, so you have no other discussion, no other questions, and Amanda?
No, I'm good.
All right,
I didn't even see Randy up there. Hi, Randy.
yep. He's got his video on. So hearing no discussions, all those in favors, I will do a roll call for your vote. So Randy
Yes,
and Amanda
Yes.
and Phil
Yes,
and Alan.
Yes.
So you have your permits for those.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your time again.
Thank you.
So agenda number 3, Lake Weiss Cannabis Education Coalition Entertainment License for Extravaganza Cannabis Themed Event, April 19th, 2025, noon to 8 PM at the fairgrounds. Is there a representative here?
Blake Weiss.
Blake?
Yes, I am. I'm the president of the UMass Cannabis Education Coalition over in Amherst.
Okay, UMass. So is this your first time actually holding this event at the fairgrounds?
this year.
This would be our third.
Were there any issues last year with cannabis?
We don't have any issues. In our contracts, and our applications, we have a stipulation that they must be licensed with the CCC. And also the ordinance that came from the health department that was sent down after last year. We've also attached that in the application. So before the vendors can even get approved or anything, they have to read through that and agree to that in the application. So we are pretty strict about that.
The one issue that there was there were 2 music stages. One of the music stages had some heavier music with bass. My understanding, Blake, please tell me if I'm misspeaking, but I believe that stage has been eliminated.
Yeah.
So the stage that was a problem last year is no longer coming back. So there will just be one main stage with music in the midway area. And that other stage will be gone. So that should make a significant impact on the noise factor.
Yeah.
So it's safe to assume though, there'll be a lot of consumption in the 21-year and older space. This is 420, pretty much.
Well, we've historically left the event open to all ages, but truthfully, majority of our crowd that comes in is the 18 plus from the college, because our event also serves part of our mission. We are the Cannabis Education Coalition, so we do have activists and speakers come in. This year especially, we're really trying to emphasize that and integrate that more into our event. So we want to have more interface for people to interact with the local industry, maybe law, science, things like that. So that is it's part of our event because it is a cannabis themed event, but there are other attractions. And
So use of cannabis in restricted areas or just freely throughout the event?
We've had it, I feel, freely throughout the event in the past, but that hasn't caused, we haven't heard of any issues from that in the past.
Well, it has to be in a 21 and over, same thing as alcohol.
Where that's where we hold our vendors who are for the 21 plus, and then we ID people as they go into the session.
So you do have a section
We do.
where you ask for IDs.
Yes, if you want to access any of the, and they're CCC licensed businesses. I don't know if you guys are like familiar with any of them in the area, if the name like Heirloom Collective like rings any bells or whatever, but they're a business over in Hadley, and I think they have a couple stores in Chicopee. They're helping us reach out to other people in the industry.
But
And
it's your opinion that generally everybody is just using it wherever they want, even though they should only enter an area to have their ID checked. Is it a restricted area like just general smoking? Or is it just throughout the fairgrounds? I'm not sure whether that would be kind of under the fairgrounds parameter, I would think that you would want.
What is the age for cannabis consumption? Is it 18 or 21?
18 with a medical card and then 21
21 without.
recreational.
So you check the IDs at the door, I mean, at the gate? Or
We don't check the IDs at the gate, but we do have people, we do have Green Mountain Security that checks bags at the gate.
I think if I was safe to assume that if people come in there, they're gonna be smoking.
Well, that's just referring back to what Green
420
Lines,
Yeah.
what Destiny was saying, she has restricted areas where.
Well, she has kids in her unit. This was 18 and over.
Can you, so let's, for me, back up a little
Mhm.
bit. If I recall, your event was education, possibly selling things like pipes or whatever, selling some marijuana, however, they could not smoke what you sold. So we're talking about people that are just normally bringing their own in and have the ability to smoke there. Can you clear up the?
Well, at the event, cannabis CCC businesses, they can't sell like cannabis products. You can't vend like outside of your dispensary location. So there is no cannabis sold at the event. So people are allowed to, I guess, have their own for, personal use. And then
But with the new ordinances and changes, we are also, so.
Can I ask you to identify yourself?
Dario Wexler, I'm the vice president of CEC.
Okay, thank you.
But the reality is you did this last year and people were going around smoking and you didn't really have any trouble.
no.
Please, okay.
And we do have the police and fire and EMT as well as additional security present at the events. We have hired the Greenfield Police. We've worked with them for the last 2 years that we've had the event at the fairgrounds, and we plan on working with them this third year. I've already reached out to Lieutenant Haskins and let him know of our intentions and going to keep him updated with the numbers as we progress towards the event.
Lieutenant Haskins is here and they did it last year, the year before, so if they don't have any issues with it, I don't.
They're a very good run organization. Again, he has the people with the CCC licenses and they don't want to mess with those. So they're very astute about what's going on. We had one issue the first year with just a lost guest, so to speak, and that was rectified. And as he mentioned, we've been speaking.
Yeah.
So we don't have, we have never had an issue with this particular event.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Can I just,
Real quick. Oh. go ahead,
yeah,
Matt.
interject
Sorry.
real quick? I just want to make sure the three conditions I suggested for the previous item regarding the stale storage display of marijuana that is contrary to state law is prohibited at this event. Use of marijuana that is contrary to state law is prohibited at this event. And then the Greenfield authorities may take appropriate action to remedy a violation, including but not limited to shutting down a particular vendor or the entire event. Again, a lot of this verbiage was informed post the development of the Health Department's suggestions with the food and beverage of cannabis that was last summer. So we are keeping these conditions in place consistent with all cannabis related events.
Yeah, we've included that document to all the vendors, like on their application and contract. So in order for them to apply, they have to agree to that. And also furthermore, we have to approve them. So you can't just sign up for the event and then send us money and then you have a spot. We vet all of our vendors. So we will make sure that we adhere to those rules.
Are there limits on who can enter? Like, do you have to show that you're 18 or older to enter?
Typically we haven't really had that in the past, but also like a majority of the crowd is like being either like bussed in or I don't know, like we really haven't had much of like a reported issue with that. So we haven't had to ID people at the door.
If there is the possibility of kids being there, if people aren't ID'd, then does that mean you have to have a smoking area if there is not strict control moving in?
I guess that's dependent on what is requested of us.
Well, a little while ago, you stated that the security would check IDs at the gate.
Well, that's at the 21, we have a 21 plus section within the fairgrounds. Because we do have like regular craft vendors, food vendors, material vendors, art vendors, things like that. So it's not just the 21 plus businesses. And honestly, a majority of our vendors are not of cannabis nature, in the sense that they're not those CCC businesses. They're, like I mentioned, like craft, food, material vendors. And also, again, we aim to make this an educational event. It's like core to our mission. So we also want to make that accessible to the greater part of the community, because we understand that some people who come aren't just looking to consume, but they're looking to participate in the greater culture.
All right.
Like, could you share more, or just kind of some of the plan to ensure that the vendors are vending everything appropriately? That nobody's got stuff under the table. I'm sure the health department is going to be going through and doing random checks, but what efforts are being made on your part as well to ensure that there's no issues, or if there is an issue, what's the protocol for dealing with a vendor that's caught?
We put in our contract as well with those new rules that if you're caught violating those rules, you will be ejected from our event. You will be permanently banned. We have made it very clear that we don't have a tolerance for illegal sales. Like I said, they have to apply before they can pay, before they're approved. So you can't just sign up, pay, and show up. So, we're going to do our best to diligently, vet the vendors. They do have to sign up under different categories such as craft and food, clothing materials, things like that. So that does help us figure it out. But ultimately, we are going to be vetting these vendors, same way that we have in previous years, and I guess with equal or more due diligence going forward.
I think there's a concern that you brought up that if you aren't checking IDs coming in, a kid comes in at 15 or something, and there's people using everywhere outside of just designated areas, that could be potentially legally gray areas. I think that it needs to be considered if there should be a age checking ages for admission.
I feel like less checking ages for admission and more creating like a area for people to smoke, because and this event has gone on at other fairgrounds. They've just overgrown it for the last about 30 or so years. This is going to be our 31st, and it's historically been open to all ages. So we would prefer to leave it that way, and we are willing to work within that, I guess, stipulations that were given.
Having a specific area for smoking of any kind, I think would mitigate the issue with possibly a 15-year-old borrowing a joint from the neighbor who's just walking around enjoying it. So, that's why I was questioning, are you checking IDs at the gate, or are you checking in a specific area where smoking would be,
Permitted.
permitted? And at the beginning, you said they would just be smoking throughout. When I asked where would they be allowed to smoke, you said pretty much everywhere.
Well, that was,
That's-
that was in the past, because again, it is a private property, so we are going based off of, like what, we've been allowed to do. So, again, we're willing to make changes based off of, what's allowable to keep our event as similar as it was to the past. And, we haven't really had any issues in the past. We feel with, consumption issues, we haven't had, we haven't heard from the police that we've, had issues in the town or, but really, again, it's,
I think it's important that we maintain the same standards for every event like that. So Destiny has a 21 and up area. I think that would be appropriate.
I agree with that for sure, but,
Officer Haskins, question.
Lieutenant Haskins?
Yeah, so I was just gonna point out, yeah, so it's a private event, so they don't have restrictions. They could allow smoking everywhere. The problem is exactly what you guys are talking about. It would be nearly impossible for you to really regulate 18-year-olds. You're not going around checking your 18-year-olds' IDs for their medical marijuana card. I highly doubt your security is doing that. So I would suggest that the best mitigation would be exactly what you just said, Aaron. And even though you don't have to have areas, that's going to be your best way. And you should have some sort of plan that your hired security could have to monitor those areas and ensure compliance. That would be my suggestion.
Okay, I know that we're going to be losing a board member probably at about 5:30, so shall we have a motion and further discussion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the application from Blake Wise Cannabis Education Coalition for his event on April 19th, 2025, with the stipulations that have been made.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I just wanted to ask real quick, are you officially including a condition regarding in a 21 plus area, or is that just left as discussion?
So the motion didn't specifically.
I'll amend my motion to include the 21 restricted area.
I think that's what your intention was, because that's what we had just been discussing, and you said with the considerations of what was
But
being
now it's
said.
in the record.
If I can just throw this out there, just because I know Destiny does 21 plus. Legally, just throwing it out there that like he said, if you're 18, you can have a medical marijuana card. So are you going to restrict 18-year-olds? Just so it's very clear.
I guess we could also check for medical cards, because the 21 plus section also, we do allow, if you do have a medical card, you are allowed to access those areas, because those businesses are allowed to advertise to you.
So we could just include that as an exception within the 21 plus 18 or over with the medical card, because that is state
I
law.
think that Lori has a
Can you
notation.
clarify, because I think for mine says an 18 plus area and I'm talking about a 21 plus area. Just for consistency's sake, let's clarify if it's 18 or 21.
I guess we'll say 18 plus with if you have the medical card slash, because it is 18 plus with a medical card and 21 and over. Those are the two. Because I feel like 18 plus is a little vague, which would make people assume if you're 19 or 20 that you
So-
could.
Did you make note of what Randy's correction was it to allow 18 with a card and 21?
I
That's
just
how-
stated 21, but in what everyone has said, with a verifiable identifications as well as your medical marijuana card, you should be allowed to attend or use this space.
So, Phil, you seconded that? You agree with the clarification? Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for, voice vote. Randy,
Yes,
Amanda,
Yes.
and Phil,
Yes.
and Alan.
Yes.
All right, so we're good. Thank you for sitting with us. Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
So third on the agenda, or fourth on the agenda is Emily Redmond of the Center School, special one-day all alcohol liquor license for trivia night fundraiser at the Center School, February 28th, 2025, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Is, let's see. Is Emily with us?
Emily was unable to attend, but my name is Amanda Richard. I'm one of the interim co-heads of school here at the center. School.
I'm gonna ask you to repeat, what our door was open and they were getting a little loud out there.
That's okay. My name is Amanda Richard. I'm one of the interim co-heads of school here at the center school. So I'm representing the center school tonight.
So do you have anything you would like to share with us, what the event is, trivia night?
The event is a trivia night for our parent body as well as 21 plus alumni or alumni teachers to come in. The event will start, we'll set up around 5. We should be cleaned up and done by 9 p.m. We're looking to raise money for the school and we're charging about $10 for folks to play. We will charge for all drinks that are sold at the event, which would likely just be beer and wine. And we're guessing we would expect around 100 people. We have done this event in the past. The last time we did it was in 2018, and it has been successful in the past.
So even though you're applying for all liquor, you intend really to have just beer and wine?
I think it'll be beer and wine, perhaps hard cider, but I don't think we're planning to do any mixed drinks of any kind.
Is there a restriction on the supplier? If they do this, does that?
All of the licenses need to get their alcohol from distributors,
Distributors.
rather than package stores.
And we have worked with the distributors in the past. We have ordered from them and had them deliver.
All right, thank you.
So, no motion? So I'll make a motion that the center school, the official special one-day all alcohol liquor license for trivia night fundraiser at the center school, February 28th, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
second,
So we have a motion on the floor for item number 4 on our agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Randy,
yes,
Amanda,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes?
and Alan.
Yes.
All right, so it is affirmative.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. Now, agenda number 5, family, Franklin County Pride Parade assembling at the middle school and processing along Federal Street, Main Street, Miles Street on June 7th, 2025. Noon to 1 p.m. Vendor post license is requested for June 7th. from, well, parade, we've got two requests on one agenda item. The parade use of the streets as well as a vendor host license on the same date, noon to 6 p.m. Miles Street at Energy Park. So I know this is not your first year.
No,
having
no.
a parade, but it's.
Yeah.
Must feel good having use of the whole.
It's good. It went really well. We were able to have more people. People didn't feel squished, so we were able to use Miles Street, and it went very well, except for like two people that didn't move their cars off of Miles Street. And we worked with the mayor's office, and they did great last year, helping us get out to all the residents in the area and let them know what was happening. So I think it went well. The mayor's office and Chris, we were both there. Who was there most of the day with us that day, so.
Yeah, I just want to say it was a pleasure and a privilege working with Pride, and I think including Miles Street was really great. Christy and I were already having conversations on how we can make sure the process is even smoother next year, and I think one of the things we talked about was closing the Miles Street lot probably like Friday afternoon just to make sure it's completely empty. We'll have it coned off that way. Saturday morning, time for setup, there won't be any surprises.
Yeah.
But we'll be doing a similar, I already prepared my letter and everything, so we'll be connecting with the Miles Street business abutters, and also, you know, trying to connect them with Pride, because I know many of them as well took advantage of the festivities and had tables set up of their own and really got to participate, which is awesome.
Yes.
Well, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to allow Franklin County Pride Parade Assembly at the middle school and processing along Federal Street, Main Street, and Miles Street on June 7th, 2025 from 12 to 1. And a vendor host license June 7th, 2025 from 12 to 6 on Miles Street and at the Energy Park.
Second that motion.
So we have that motion for agenda number 5 before us. Is there any further discussion, questions for our guests? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Randy
Yes.
and Amanda,
Yes.
Phil
Yes.
and Alan,
Yes.
and it is unanimous. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Moving on to, oh, we're doing good for time now. Agenda number 6, Deborah Kuplar. Worship on the Common, Assembly on the Common, Sunday, 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. We don't have dates,
Every Sunday.
and I apologize for not getting the name right.
Footwear.
Yeah, it was close.
Lori, does she need a license for this?
Use of the Common.
I thought it's like.
It's the First Amendment Assembly, so no, but they chose to get a registration, so that way the space is reserved for them. With the understanding that if it's a long-term license, they'll have to possibly yield the space if there is another event that needs it.
There are Sunday events throughout the year.
Not usually Harvest Supper moved to Saturday, so it isn't often a big event, so it probably didn't impact them at all last year.
So is this your first year with the?
We started in, I think, July last year.
Last year.
It's gotten a little chilly, but persevering.
Yes.
Isn't this like the time period you used to have faith lives or the,
They did, I did not live here during that time, but I had heard about it, and that's why I picked it up again. I liked the idea that that was going on. And so we wanted to continue.
So we need to clarify the start date. I don't have that.
I wasn't sure when I would be able to get on meeting, so whichever the nearest Sunday is. This Sunday, if it's approved.
Oh, so you were thinking like immediate?
Yeah.
Not just,
Just want to get to see.
well, we appreciate your being willing to ask for the use of the common. So,
Well, I did put on there, we do have a sign, but we're not
Yeah.
leaving it there. It's just during the time we're there so that people know what we're doing, who we are, what we're.
is it going to be just like a sandwich board? or-
Yes, yes. And we take it with us when we're done. And we do use electricity. I think it was on there. Sounds.
Well, I assume that the town.
Where did you get the electricity from last year?
At the, in the middle right there.
Fence around the Civil War monument obelisk.
I think we even requested the bathroom to be open, but I don't think anybody used it. I don't know if it's necessary to do that.
Yeah, that's kind of difficult for a Sunday.
Yeah. I don't
Because
think it's.
Town hall would not be.
Yeah, I
available.
don't, I think I put on there that it was.
And there is a Portland Loo a couple of blocks away,
Sure,
so if it were necessary,
right.
if it's up and running again, do you know whether it's working again? or not?
I believe right now, because of the extreme cold, it isn't, it's very hard to keep it clean in the cold.
Yes. I know.
Matt, do you know about the Portland Loo? Is there an estimated date to open it again?
I would guess it's just dependent always on the weather. So like a week like this week where like the wind chills are in the negatives, I would assume it will probably be closed this week, but say next week it's back up in the, mid 30s to 40s, it'd probably be able to open again. It's just during those weeks where it's freezing temperatures, due to there is some ventilation in the Portland Loo, and if it gets too cold, then it's at a status where it's hard to clean to proper cleaning standards. So
Cleaning fluid freezes.
yes, exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Fans to finish.
problematic.
So, I mean, you can make people aware if they,
Yeah.
so,
Now, are you picking a specific spot? You have a small group? Are
We're
you?
usually on the little concrete area because we have the little speakers and stuff, so.
Okay.
And run the electrical over there to the little fence thing. And then we put the sandwich board kind of towards the corner so that both directions it could be seen. That's about it.
so are you aware whether that outlet is always active or if she would have to make sure?
I don't know, Matt. Do you know if the outlet's active?
Usually, Lori coordinates with me and I work with Chris Phillips, to make sure that the power's on for certain events in the common. So anytime an event like this is approved by licensing, then Lori, myself, and Chris Phillips kind of, get together and ensure that, electricity is available.
That would be sad if you got there and plugged in and said, oh.
Set up and then have to pull down. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think it ever was not working when we were there, so.
Oh, that's good. All right. So. Moving right along, everyone.
So I'll make a motion that Deborah Couturier worship on the Common Assembly on the Commons Sundays, 12:30 to 1:30, starting this weekend.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion before us for agenda number 6. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Randy,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
and Phil,
Yes.
and Alan,
Yes.
and so you have permit.
Thank you very much for your time.
Is the end date December 31st? Pardon? Is the end date December 31st?
Yes, because you said it was just for a year, so.
All right,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Agenda number 7, Mark Blanchett, slash Wormtown Trading Company entertainment license for Strange Creek Music Festival. A new name for me. May 23rd to the 25th, 2025, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. at Camp Kawani.
Hi,
You,
I am Derek. I am filling in for Mark because he's in Arizona.
where,
I used to come to these meetings more regularly, but I'm happy to be back.
all right, thank you for being willing to sit with us.
No problem. And I believe we're applying for both our events.
Yes,
Yeah.
agenda number 8, it's listed separately for the entertainment license, for the September dates.
Got it.
So right now, we're just dealing with the May dates, and I'm very pleased to say that I don't remember hearing any police action that had come before us to settle problems and.
We have been doing this up there for a long time and we are proud that it has gotten smoother and smoother every time. We have a lot of repeat customers and they're practically self-policing at this point. They make us aware of issues and solve them.
And your sound controls go with hay bales and indoor after a certain time period.
Yep,
You solve your parking issues too, right?
believe so. Yeah, I'm more the office guy, but I haven't heard of the parking hassles in recent years. And otherwise, we generally do the same because it works. We work with the police on the traffic detail and security overall, and we keep our EMTs on site 24/7 and hope they're bored. That's what we like.
So Lieutenant Haskins, do you have any point of view on this? Anything different that we're not aware of?
Nope, well, it's definitely a smooth event. We don't have any problems. Like you said, it literally gets easier and easier every year. A little bigger and bigger too, but that's a good thing.
Last May's was pretty big. We actually told people to stop coming. Sort of a soft sellout. We didn't turn people away if they were already on the road, but we went online and said, that's enough. We don't want to crowd it out for the people who are already there. The fall, on the other hand, was one of our smaller ones, and it tends to be that way. People are more excited in the spring and they've been doing summer things.
Previously, you've been pretty generous with making some donations to like Camp Kawani
absolutely, yeah.
and other community events with people.
Yep.
Kawani's not here yet.
No, we have a structured arrangement with them, and we're very proud of helping them do the improvements they've been able to do up there. Septic, sidewalks, and roofs. I think we helped chip in for their new playground this year.
Great.
So what, can I make a motion?
Yes.
For Mark Blanchett and Wormtown Trading Company, entertainment license for Strange Creek Music Festival, May 3rd to May 25th, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. at Camp Kawani.
Do we have a
I,
We have a second?
Again, this guy.
he said,
Discussion, yes.
I believe in the motion, he said May 3rd.
May 23rd, 25th.
Yeah.
You've got down 26 there on your application.
We do that because people can camp overnight on Sunday night. The 26th is just them packing up and leaving and us cleaning up.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Randy
Yes.
and Amanda,
Yes.
Phil
Yes.
and Alan.
Yes.
So it's unanimous. And number 8 on the agenda is the request for an entertainment license from Wormtown Trading Company.
Yeah, so it's the
same dates. Entertainment license for September 12th to the 14th, 10 a.m. to 11.
For that one, nobody camps over on Sunday night. We stop the music around 6 and try to get them all out by 8.
So, if it's okay, so I'll make another motion on Mark Blanchett, Wormtown Trading Company, entertainment license for Wormtown Music Festival, September 12th to 14th, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., September 12th and 13th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and September, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on September 14th. So 12th to 14th, 10 AM to 11 PM on the 12th and 13th, and 10 to 6 PM on the 14th.
Right.
Second that motion.
Any further discussion?
I only have one question here you're going under the events have two different names, one Strange Creek and the other one Wormtown. Is there a reason for that, specific reason?
I think just to keep them separate in the public's mind, you know, because there's a period where we're selling tickets to each and we're booking bands for each and putting out promo for each. And we don't want someone showing up on the wrong weekend thinking they're seeing that band that we only had in May. Something like that.
I'm assuming the Chris S is Chris Sexton.
I'm assuming that's two. Hi, Chris. He fell asleep. Yes, that's
All
everything.
right.
Chris at Camp Kiwanee.
So we have a motion on the table for agenda number 8. I'll call the roll. Randy,
Yes.
Amanda,
She left too.
Amanda, your microphone is muted. I'm going to skip Amanda for the moment. And
Yes.
Phil and Alan,
Yes.
and I would vote yes. And it's.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, we appreciate it.
Here, should look fun.
Yeah, minus a couple for the,
How many?
COVID.
the first in this town.
2003 or so, right, yeah.
Oh.
That was 23 years.
A lot of growing pains.
Right.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Only 20 years of pain.
We're all getting a little older now. We all go to bed a little earlier.
Speak for yourself.
I am. Definitely. Thank you so
All
much.
right, 9th on the agenda, Andrew Niswinder of Trinity Solar, door-to-door solicitation license for sale of solar panels and insulation. And you are,
Andrew
Andrew.
Nesbitt, yes, nice to meet all of you. How are you doing?
nice to meet you. Thank you for being patient.
Of course,
You can see we have a lot of work that we.
absolutely.
And we're almost on schedule there, Phil. Good. So are you new with Trinity Solar? Just
Yes,
starting out?
I've been there about a month at this point.
We've had several people from the Trinity over the years.
Sure.
I'm sure you're fully aware of the turnover.
Yes.
So the one thing I love to tell anyone who sits requesting this is that please look up. If it's a slate roof, don't ring the doorbell.
Fair enough. Yes, of course. No, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste anyone
I
else's
know.
time.
It's a pain.
Do you have a slate roof?
I have a slate roof, yes.
I'll not be coming to your house.
Okay,
So you know the hours, we have regulations on this, don't we? The hours of,
I think he's,
I believe it's 9 to dusk.
you got it, okay, as long as you know everything.
yeah. Now, as you're aware, as we were speaking, there are a number of people from Trinity that have come through here. So are you at liberty to say whether Greenfield is a hotbed for solar and that's why Trinity keeps?
I mean, we, prior to this, since I've, been waiting for this license, I've been in other towns where there are, check-in towns. So we are, not to be ominous, but we are everywhere. There are a number of people knocking. It is with the federal and state incentives right now, it is a good time for consumers to invest in solar, especially, I don't know if you're all Eversource customers, but my bill has not been getting any lower. This is a chance for people to, take some control over their energy
Not
bills.
gonna get wind.
No, I don't think so. I'm unlikely to build a nuclear power station here in Greenfield in the near future, I imagine.
well, it sounds like you know the restrictions and that's what our board would expect of your.
Yes, I want to make people's lives easier and not, I know no one particularly enjoys having someone stop by unannounced at their door, but if they can end up, saving them a considerable amount of money, I would hope that would be, an inconvenience they would learn to overlook.
Please get more information. about it.
Exactly, and that is my job,
Fit in the budget.
is just, present you know, present them with, find a better time for them to get further information, you know, appointment.
Okay, so
I didn't see anything in here where the police department,
Based on the application, they're all set.
stepped forward. Where's that? They showed on the back?
The last page.
Okay. I guess you can call that a signature. Okay.
So I'll make a motion that, Andrew Niswander.
Yes.
That's right, yeah. For Trinity Solar, to do door-to-door solicitation license for sale of solar panels and installation. Great.
do I have a second?
Second,
Any further discussion? Thought I heard something.
She's ready to vote.
All right, I'll call the roll. Randy,
yes.
Amanda,
I'm actually gonna abstain.
all right, Phil
Yes.
and Alan.
Yes.
So you have your.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate your time.
All right. Well, at this time, agenda number 10, requires a public hearing. And it's, well, I can't pronounce that, Nepsathi LLC, doing business as Namaste Indian Nepalese Restaurant at 286 Main Street, change of class from a seasonal restaurant on premises wine and malt liquor license to an annual restaurant on premises wine and malt liquor license. So at this time, and what time is it? It's 5:27 PM. I will open the public hearing,
First, will you read the public notice, please?
which is right here. The Board of License Commissioner has received an application from Nepsathi LLC, DBA Namaste Restaurant / Nepalese Restaurant at 280 Main Street, lot 51-50-0, Greenfield, Mass. For a change of class from a seasonal restaurant on premises wine and malt liquor to an annual restaurant on premises wine and malt liquor. Description of premises: first floor of 4-story building, dining area, kitchen, 2,410 square feet, one entrance, one exit. Under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws, the Board of License Commissioners will hold a hearing on the application on Tuesday, January 21st, 2025 at 4 PM. The meeting will be held at City Hall Meeting Room and also via Zoom. The link to be provided via agenda posting. Ruth Ellen M. Henry, Chair, Board of License Commissioners. So do we have any comments from the public about this request?
Is there anybody from Namaste?
Do we have a representative from Namaste with us?
I'm here. How are you guys?
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm not hearing any comments from the public. So at this time, which is 5:29 PM, I'll close the public hearing and we will take it from here. Do I have a motion?
I just want to make note that there has been no objections from any of the religious groups in the area that would be affected by their licensing change.
And the police department has no comments at this time as well via
Nope, we're good.
email.
So can you, the owner, can you comment at all what's going on?
Yeah, actually, we just have a season license, so I've been in a waiting list for a couple of years to get an annual, so we just got it, and Lori has sent me, so I'm applying for the annual. So it's just a beer and a wine license. So
Just beer and wine.
yeah, this is,
So not liquor, just beer and wine?
no. I think it's a malt, so it's a
Wine
beer.
and malt liquor
Yeah, it's not a full liquor license.
came directly from the garden when they got theirs. Where do we stand right now? I've lost track.
There's no motion on the floor.
So I'll make a motion that, we have two different ones here, or?
One, I'm all working on agenda number
What's that,
10.
do we can go for both, or which one?
I've
Well,
already,
three different businesses, so just number 10.
yeah,
Item
I
number 10.
already closed the public hearing on it.
Okay, so next, the LLC DBA Namaste Indian Nepalese, probably, the restaurant, 286 Main Street, change of class from a seasonal restaurant, on premise wine and malt liquor license to an annual restaurant, on premise wine and malt liquor license.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none. I will call the roll. Randy
Yes.
and Amanda,
Yes.
Phil
Yes.
and Alan.
Yes.
And so it's unanimous. So agenda number 11 is also requires a public hearing. So instead of reading it from there, I'll read it from here. The Board of License Commissioners has received an application for a change of ownership interest / LLC members and officers / directors / LLC managers of 10 Forward LLC, who holds an annual all alcohol general on-purpose liquor license at 10 Fisk Avenue, Greenfield, Mass. A change of manager to Asa Rosario and a change of DBA to Last Ditch. Description of premises, basement level of 10 Fisk Avenue, one main room, 2,300 square feet, outdoor patio, 216 square feet. Under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Law, the Board of License Commissioners will hold a hearing on the application on Tuesday, January 21st at 4 p.m. The meeting will be held at the City Hall meeting room and also via Zoom, link to be provided via agenda posting. Ruth Ellen M. Henry, Chair, Board of License Commissioners. So at this time, I'll open the public meeting at 5:33 p.m. And I will call for any public comments. If anyone wishes to give an opinion on the change of management, is it, no, ownership. Hearing none. I guess that's a short public hearing. So we are now closing the public hearing at 5:34 p.m. And I will entertain a motion for, in the interest of further discussion, if need be.
Two different motions.
I'll make a motion that we close the public notice.
No, I closed it, what we need is a motion on the request
Oh, okay.
for the annual all alcohol general on premises license. Agenda number 11.
I'll make a motion Forward LLC, who holds an annual all alcohol general on-premise liquor license at 10 Fisk Avenue. Applications for a change of ownership interest, LLC members and officers, directors, LLC managers, change of manager to Asa Rosario and change of DBA to Last Ditch.
Second that motion.
Now we have a motion on the floor.
I have a question. Do we normally allow 2 a.m. openings?
No,
What's the town? One?
No, 1 AM.
Because I know some, their application says for 2 AM.
The only discussion on that, Phil, is that they're requesting a 2 AM. And the liquor licenses that stand now, unless it was special for like New Year's or something, is 1 AM.
Yeah, so I
So
thought.
the 2 AM would have to be struck from the application.
Yeah, hi. I'm Asa Rosario here. I've been speaking with Lori, and she had let me know that we could only be open until 1, and we have no problem with that.
All right. I'm glad that was clarified.
Thank you,
From our very efficient.
Is the current place open now or closed?
Currently, it is closed.
How long has it been closed?
Since the beginning of November.
Like several owners there over the years.
Yes, yeah. The previous owners, I believe, had it for about a year and a half, 2 years, and I'm one of the new owners. We just acquired it.
Any further discussion?
So you've purchased everything inside it looks like the things like the musical instruments, you probably got the bar and the glasses, everything inside that would make up the bar. And then you have the owner of the building that's controlling what's going on in your location, right?
Yes, yeah. We acquired a lot of the materials that were already in the bar, already owned by the business, and we do have an existing lease with the landlord of the building.
When were you planning on opening?
Right now, our goal, depending on how approvals for licensings and things like that go, is early, either April or May, early spring.
All right. Any other
Is this-
discussion?
I was just
Randy?
wondering, is this, I don't have the packet with me, but it's been approved through ABC already?
No, it goes through the licensing board first and then the application.
And then it'll go
over to
through them?
ABC.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
Good night.
I will assume there's no other discussion, questions? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Randy
Yes.
and Amanda,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
and Alan.
Yes.
All right, so it is approved.
Thank you so much for your time.
Agenda number 11.5 is the request from 10 Forward LLC doing business as Last Ditch Entertainment, annual entertainment license and common victualler license at 10 Fisk Avenue.
I'll make a motion that 10 Forward LLC DBA Last Ditch, annual entertainment license and common victular license at 10 Fisk Avenue.
We have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the roll. Randy
Yes.
and Amanda
Yes.
and Phil.
Yes.
And Alan.
Yes.
All right, so you're good to go.
Alrighty, thanks so much, guys.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
So, 12 on our agenda is automatic amusement license or devices, which types of devices require separate license and create a new category. So if you recall, we had decided to group together a number of them, and now we have all these claw machines and if we group them together, the price would not be for individual So the claw machine doesn't come under any of the other categories. That's what I'm understanding, right?
Currently, the only categories are pool, pinball, video, and dart. Under the other, recently we've seen a lot of claw machines, but some businesses are wanting to add air hockey, baseball, boxing. And so it was just a discussion to see if there were any further categories you'd like to create. Kind of group some of these, that's like I'm sure them individually.
So what's the opinion? Does, it seems to me, you know, in order to be business friendly, we ought to consider adding a category.
These particular, I'm not really sure what the question being on the thing. Is it something to do with what they pay per unit, or is it for a, you know, is it for everything grouped into one pay? I mean, if somebody has 10 machines, they pay for 10 different machines. Is that correct?
Well, we had grouped them together under, you just said them and I can't. Categories.
So it would be like if you had to have a separate license for every kind of video game as opposed to just video games, and that includes all different types. Do you want to create another category for sports machines or something else?
So right now we have, well, jukeboxes don't need a license. Pool tables under one category, and then pinball, video, dart, and other type of device. Which, $100 for the first. $25 for second type and $25 for third type. So if they had like 5 pinball machines, they would only pay the 100.
Correct.
If they had 5 video machines, they would only pay that 25. And
But is that grouped 25 per category or 25 per machine?
Per category, they're all per category,
yeah,
per state law.
Okay.
but now with these claw machines, they're, well, is it common for a place to have more than one claw machine, or would it just come under?
You don't know because the business is licensed to have claw machines. They can have any number for the same fee. Same with pool tables or pinball machines, that sort of thing. Their fees increase as they increase the number of categories that they have. And
Yeah.
so if you group some of these into a single category, their fees will not be as high.
Right.
Anybody downstairs?
Pouring rain.
Oh,
Rain. No.
Okay, so just trying to figure out which ones. So the pinball, video, dart, and any other type of device.
Have you been in the cat litter box?
I think that's Randy's wife talking.
no, my dog just got in a cat litter box.
Uh-oh. Oh, nothing like a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah.
So I'm not fully aware of
Sorry,
what businesses normally have.
I have to go. I didn't realize the meeting was gonna
Okay.
be this late. Okay, thanks.
So we will table this, but we have to give it some serious thought just to make it more business friendly. All right, so at this time, I assume there's no other messages from the mayor's office? Oops. No.
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
So we have a well, we haven't approved the minutes yet.
Oh,
So the motion is that we adjourn,
only in the interest that Amanda has to leave as well, so
Right.
it's really only the,
She wasn't at the last meeting, so can you just do the minutes before you adjourn, please?
yeah. So do you have any issues? Can you make a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
I accept yes.
Right.
I make a motion that we accept the December 17th minutes as presented.
Thank you. I will second that. And so did,
Randy's still on.
okay, but Amanda left, okay. So roll call, Randy
Yes.
and Alan and
Yes.
myself, yes. At least we have 3 as well, still. Okay, thank you for sharing this.
Yes, of course, I brought some for everyone.
So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, it looks like it's 5:47.
I'll second the motion.
All right,
Have a good night, everyone.
okay. Thank you.
Bye.